tabletalks.com. Welcome to this video where we again calculating something to do with the numerical problems on projectile motion, and this is our 60th example. What does the 60th example tell us? It's telling us that a shot is fired from the top of a cliff 200 meters high with a velocity of 500 meters per second at an elevation of 30 degrees. Find, Roman 1, the time taken for the shot. Shouldn't be bullets, they said shot. Find the time taken for the shot to strike the ground. 2, the distance from the bottom of the cliff to where the shot strikes the ground. 3, the distance from the ground to the highest point reached. So let's look at the solution. Of course, we said that the easiest way to answering such a question is by first sketching. If this is my horizontal ground and this is my cliff that is 200 meters high, this is my cliff, and the person who fired the bullet fired it from that point. Of course, that bullet goes in the air, and the time comes when it comes down. They said the angle of projection or firing was fired at 30 degrees to the horizontal. Then the initial velocity here is 500 meters. Now they're asking us, now you see, they are saying it is 200 meters above the ground. Now, how do we get the time taken? The expression we shall use for time taken is the expression for vertical motion. We shall call it the vertical motion of this bullet when it is going upwards. And the expression we know, we said it was u sine theta t minus a half gt squared. Now, pay attention. What is our y? Y is negative 200 meters. Why? When we go back to sign conversion under motion under gravity, if a distance is below the point of projection, if we must use it in a calculation, then that distance has to be given a negative value. Therefore, negative 200 is equal to 500 sine 30 times time, which is equal to 4.905, minus squared. Now, what do we see here? We realize that this is a quadratic equation, and this is 200 is equal to 250t minus 4.905 t squared. Now let us form a quadratic equation from this. Let me write here. When this crosses equal sign, it becomes positive 4.95 t squared minus 250t minus 200. This one is equal to 0. This is a quadratic equation. So, when we solve the quadratic equation, we expect to have two values of t. So, either t is equal to dash or t is equal to negative. Now, without wasting time, if you press the calculator, you should be in position to get that value right. Now, when we press the values, or when we solve this quadratic equation, we realize that one of the values is 51.76 seconds, then the other value is negative. Now, the negative value, we cannot use it, therefore, the time taken for this bullet to land on the ground will be 51.76 seconds. So please compute and you get those corresponding values. But here for time, we can only choose negative time, okay? So we have to use the positive value of t. Now let's come to Roman numeral 2. Roman numeral 1 has been answered. They are saying that we should find the distance from the bottom of the cliff to where the shoot strikes the ground. In other words, they need us to find horizontal range, which we said is got from the expression u cos theta times t. Therefore, our r, or the horizontal range, will be 500 cos 30 times 51.76. So we compute this is 500 cos 30 times 51.76, and the value of r here we get 2494.2 meters. This is our horizontal range. Roman numeral 3, they asked for the highest point reached. Now, how do we get the highest point reached? If we take this to be a point of reference, here we get this height here. But the highest point reached from the ground will be now 600 meters plus this point. So this, how do we get this height? This height is the maximum height, and we said that maximum height hx was equal to u squared sine theta squared over 2g. So we substitute 500 squared sine 30 squared divided by 2 times 981. So we calculate our maximum height here. This is 500 squared sine 500 times sine 30 squared divided by 2 times 9.81. This maximum height, it gives 6.3. Let me repeat. 500 squared times sine 30 squared divided by 2 times 9.81. I get my maximum height as 3,185.5 meters. So the highest point will be equal to 3,100 that plus 200. So answer plus 200, we get 3,385.5 meters. So that is the maximum height that is reached.